so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
In today's episode, Lou and I sit down with Julie Donnelly. Julie is an internationally respected expert and sought-after therapist specializing in repetitive strain, chronic pain, and sports injuries. Julie's work spans the full spectrum, from everyday non-athletes to world-class performers, including Olympic and professional athletes, musicians, dancers, and even other medical professionals. She's the author of 12 self-treatment books, several DVDs, and the co-founder of Focused Flexibility Training, which you'll hear a lot about in this conversation. Keep listening as Julie breaks down the surprising sources of some very common pains and shares what you can do to finally get relief. Stay tuned. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Earrings Off episode. Lou and I have with us today Julie Donnelly. Julie, welcome to Earrings Off.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so excited to hear what you have to say today. I'm going to jump right into the questions, Julie.
Okay.
Tell me, what are the most common causes of muscle pain and spasms?
Well, it's really repetitive strain injury. Like right this minute, the three of us are sitting down. That's actually the number one cause of low back pain.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's too long to go into, but the muscles that pull you into the sitting position, when you're sitting, they stay still for as long as you're sitting. So let's say you're working at your computer and you're sitting for an hour. Well, that muscle has been held contracted for an hour. Yeah. And there's actually several of them. We won't go into all the names, but there's a thing called muscle memory that says when a muscle is held in a position for a period of time, it shortens to that length. So you then try to stand up, but the muscle has shortened. And what it does is it literally pulls your pelvis forward. So you may be told you have an anterior pelvis tilt. And it also is pulling on the front side of your lumbar vertebra. The message goes to your brain that there's strain on the front, on your lumbar vertebra, but our brain translates that to say we have low back pain. And it is the lumbar vertebra, but it's not the back, it's the front.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've always thought of muscle memory as something else, but that makes so much sense.
Right.
That sometimes when we stand up, we feel a little bit of tightness, right?
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I have one question about that, one follow-up question. Are you familiar with those exercise balls, the big ones that you
yeah, the great big ones.
Yeah. So sometimes I sit on that to work.
Okay.
So I'm not sitting still because I'm balancing myself, right? So
Right.
Is that helpful or harmful?
It's not harmful. I do think that it's better on your sacrum. It's probably better on your spine. But the muscles that pull you into the sitting position are still contracted. It's like I tell people, they go out and they get these $1,500 desk chairs.
Yeah.
Well, in truth, it doesn't matter if you're on a $1,500 desk chair or a milk carton. You're still sitting.
Wow. Yeah.
So sitting is the problem.
Sitting
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, sitting for long times. Anymore, our smart devices tell us when we need to stand up,
Right.
every 10 minutes, every hour.
And they have those desks that go up and down.
Right.
So those are also good, especially if somebody works at a job where they're on the computer the whole entire day. They need.
Okay.
So, Julie, how does poor posture or improper movement patterns contribute to muscle pain?
Well, if you would do like the Pledge of Allegiance,
Mm-hmm.
just to have your hand there.
Mm-hmm.
Now bring your shoulders forward, like roll your back so that your back is kind of humped.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the muscle contracting?
Mm-hmm.
That muscle, every time you're going for the steering wheel, you're washing the dishes, you're playing the piano, whatever you're doing, when your arm is coming in front of you, that muscle is contracted. A lot of us, especially when we're under stress, you kind of like curl into a little ball. So your shoulders are forward, maybe your head is down, and those muscles get shortened. So if you looked at yourself on, sideways, you have a hump in the back. So your posture is bad. And just like the muscle I was just mentioning about the low back pain, that's pulling you forward. So now you're bent over forward and your shoulders are rounded. You look like you have horrible posture. And you do, but it's caused by tight muscles.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think about these little things.
No, people, it's really interesting, Teresa, that I did a TED Talk. So I think if you were on my website, you probably saw it.
Yeah, I did. It was great. I did. I saw that about the athlete. Oh, it's a great story.
Oh, that I still cry when I see that. I still talk to him now.
Yeah.
It's been years since that happened. But I mean, it changed his life. He was supposed to go to the Olympics.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. So what stretches or exercises would you recommend for self-treating tight, painful muscles?
Well, first I want to give a little update about stretching. People will say to me, well, I stretch all the time. So think about it. If you took a rope that was 12 inches long and you tied enough knots along it and you now made it 10 inches long, you could stretch it back to 12 inches. But what did you do?
You still have the knots there.
You made the knots tighter and you overstretch the fibers that are not in the knot. Wow. And then you go back into that shortened position again, you create more knots, and then you stretch it. Well, you made those knots tighter. You see that? See what happens?
I do. That makes sense, Julie. Yeah.
And the thing is, it is so easy to untie the knots. The thing you have to do, first of all, where you're feeling it is not where it's happening. Think about if you pulled your hair at the end, scalp hurts. You don't have to massage the scalp. You don't need to take aspirin for the headache, and you don't need brain surgery. You need to let go of your hair.
Right.
It's the same thing with the muscles. What they do is the muscles come down, they go into a tendon, and then the tendon crosses over a joint and inserts on a bone on the other side. When the muscle contracts, it pulls on the tendon, which pulls on the bone on the opposite side of the joint, and now the joint moves, right? But so that's how you move the whole body. I mean, everything about you is because a muscle went into a tendon, crossed a joint, and then inserted. But you don't rub where it's inserting. That's like pulling your hair and rubbing your scalp. You need to, this is easier than it sounds. You need to find the muscle that inserts at that exact point, and then go to it's called the muscle belly. It's like the center of the muscle, and just press around, and you'll find it's like you'll be, okay, ouch. The ouch is the knot that's shortening the muscle. And you just put your fingers on it, and I tell people, you only want to press it to where it hurts so good. You don't want to be holding your breath because it's too painful, because your whole body will tighten up when you do that. So just hurts so good, that's all.
Well, I found it fascinating, Julie, that you said your goal is to teach people how to treat themselves, because, the pain may come back and they need to know what to do to relieve that, how to address it. And as you were talking, I mean, Teresa knows this. I started playing pickleballs. I guess it's been about 6 months ago. And Julie, I tell you, my legs I would be in so much pain after I would play. It was like I was a tin man. And then about a month ago, I started doing some stretches for my hip. Now, I was trying to figure out what was going on with my leg, but when I started addressing that hip tightness, that made all the difference.
Exactly, Lou. And you know what? If you took a ball, because again, stretching the muscle, you're doing that, what I just said with the rope. But if you take a ball, like a tennis ball,
Uh-huh.
and you put it, if you right where your side seam is on your pants,
Mm-hmm.
in between, so you have your hip bone and your leg bone.
Mm-hmm.
Between those two bones, there's a muscle. Put the ball right there and lean up against the wall, and then move around and move all the way around, and you'll find the knots.
Wow.
You won't
That
have
is
any problem.
Well, thank you for that. That is fascinating. So, Julie, how effective are techniques like foam rolling or massage for alleviating muscle tension?
Well, a foam roller works on the front of your quads,
Mm-hmm.
the front of your thigh, because you can lay on the floor and you can, roll on it. It's not going to do anything around your hips because our hips, the old English muffin thing, nooks and crannies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all the way around your hips, you've got tons of nooks and crannies, and they're small, and that foam roller is not going to get in there. You'll get major muscle, the gluteus max, your butt muscle. You'll get that one, but you won't get any of the ones that are actually the major cause of pain. You need to do that with a ball. And then teaching people, what ended up happening was I used to work, well, I still do, with athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And, they have horrible chronic pain. But they would go off. Like I remember one time one of my cyclists called me. He was 50 miles away and he's on the ground because his hips were hurting so much he couldn't pedal his bike, and he's 50 miles away. And I said to him, well, what do you have with you? So that was back in the days of the flip phone. So he had a flip phone and he had a water bottle. So I said, all right, let me work on this and I'll get back to you. So I hung up, went and I got myself a water bottle, got on the floor, and I had a flip phone, and we all had flip phones at that point.
Yeah.
And I worked on it, and then I called him back and I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. And I talked him through it, and it worked. And he pedaled 50 miles back and came straight to the office. Right.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's, I find it is going to come back. If you're doing something repetitive, whether it's pickleball, playing the piano, flying a kite, it doesn't matter. If you're doing something that's repetitive, it is going to come back. And you can't unless you're a multi-billionaire, you can't come to me as often as you need to. You need, and plus also don't call me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from you at 2 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I started teaching people to self-treat.
I love that.
I do too. Are muscles a possible cause of headaches?
Absolutely.
How so?
All right. How can I tell you this? All right. Put your hand. So let's say take your left hand and put it on top of your right shoulder.
Left hand.
Like that meaty part, the meaty part of the top of your shoulder.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Now lift your shoulder up like you're shrugging.
Yeah.
You feel the muscle contract?
I do.
Okay. There's two main muscles. One of them is the trapezius. A lot of people know about that one.
Right.
The one that's actually causing the majority of the problem is a different muscle. It's called levator scapulae. And the nickname for it is called the shrug muscle because when it contracts, you shrug. But it originates on cervical 1, 2, 3, 4. And it inserts on your shoulder blade, right, on the top of your shoulder blade. And when it gets tight, when people are under stress, how they keep, like your shoulders go up, like you'll look sometimes, and I used to say to my daughter, stop wearing your shoulders like earrings
Yeah.
because they'd be so high up. And it doesn't, you don't go from normal to that high in one step. You go in millimeters. So you're not even noticing that you're doing it.
Right, right.
And then, and there you are. Anyway, when that muscle is tight, and now let's say you pick up a heavy grocery bag. Well, the heavy grocery bag is pulling your arm down, except that muscle's too short. So what happens is it pulls your vertebra. Let's say it's your left side. It's pulling your vertebra to the left and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle of the vertebra, there's a hole. It's called a foramen. And your spinal cord, there's your brain, and your spinal cord goes through that hole all the way down, to your sacrum, and then it goes down your legs. But it's pulling the vertebra to the side, to the left, but the right side of the foramen is now pressing on the spinal cord at the base of your brain. And it causes horrific headaches. And also because it's pulling it to the left and down in this analogy, it's also pressing down on the discs. And it's pressing on the nerves that are coming out of the vertebra. So you're in a world of pain, and it's coming from a muscle on the top of your shoulder. And they're giving you drugs for the pain.
Right.
Doing all kinds of, but nobody is massaging your shoulder.
Oh my goodness.
And you can do it so easily.
Yeah.
And that relieves the pain.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Julie, thank you for that. And Julie, I hear so many people complain about sciatica. And I don't know if it's happening more or I'm just paying attention more or it's impacting people that I'm coming into contact with. But it's like I'm hearing that everywhere, Julie. So can you talk to us a little bit about sciatica? What is it? And tell us about how that's to best address that.
Okay. So when I was talking before about the muscles that pull you into the sitting position.
Yeah.
So you need to visualize this, all right? So we've all seen a skeleton. Right? If nothing else, at Halloween we see them. So let's say that if you look at the skeleton, on the pelvis, there's a notch. It's called the greater sciatic notch for anybody that wants to look it up. And your sciatic nerve comes through the greater sciatic notch, okay? And then it goes down your legs. But what's happening is as that muscle is tightening and it's around the pelvis, it's causing the pelvis to go down in the front and up in the back. As that happens, the nerve, the bone, the greater sciatic notch, is now pushing up into the sciatic nerve. As it does that, like that whole section of your back, it feels like somebody took a rubber mallet and just smashed you with it. And because it's pressing into the nerve, it can go all the way down your leg. It can go to your hamstrings, your calves, your feet, around your hips. I mean, it is absolutely brutal. And because there's actually a lot more muscles that are involved. I mean, we're making it sound kind of cut and dried, but other muscles are involved in this whole mess. You have pain all over the place. And you can just take the ball. You're going to take the ball and work all around. There's another technique I teach you for your thighs, that you use a piece of PVC pipe, actually, to work on your thighs. And then there's a stretch, which is kind of impossible to explain without a video.
Right.
But if anybody is ever interested in the book, it's in the book.
Okay.
But what you're doing is you want to stretch the muscle that pulls you forward, because nobody ever stretches it. To stretch it, you have to go back without moving your pelvis. That's what stretches that muscle. But it takes the bone off the sciatic nerve. And the reason you're hearing so much of it now, Lou, is because look how many people are working on computers. I mean, it's like we're all on computers, and many people are sitting for hours and hours and don't even get up.
Right.
What are the three most prevalent chronic pain issues? I would imagine sciatica is one of them.
Well, we'll kind of lump sciatica and low back and hip pain.
Yeah.
We'll lump
Okay.
them all into one big thing.
Okay. Okay.
So it's everything there. Carpal tunnel is a huge one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And carpal tunnel, it's your wrist and your thumb and your two fingers, but it's actually coming from there's your neck, that muscle in your chest that I had you find before, your bicep, your whole forearm, and your thumb muscle.
Wow.
They're all involved, and nobody looks at all of them. They just look at your wrist. And so they're just missing it totally. And headaches. Plantar fasciitis is another one. That's foot pain. Those are the biggest.
Wow.
Oh, shoulder. Well, shoulder pain is huge.
It's huge.
It's hard to just narrow it down to three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What is this thing with the shoulder? People say they have locked shoulder.
Oh, frozen shoulder.
Frozen shoulder, yeah.
Frozen shoulder. Yeah, I know. It sounds like nothing, frozen shoulder, big deal. There's 16 muscles that insert into your shoulder. Muscles don't push, they only pull. So the reason that we can make so many we have such a huge range of motion in our shoulders is because there's 16 muscles, and depending on which one is pulling, that's the direction you're going in. And what happens is the muscles, as they get tight, also from repetitive strain injury usually, think of it as if you pulled your hair on, let's say on the left. Pulling your hair on the left, it's hurting your scalp on the left. You can't turn your head toward the right. And if you keep trying, it's going to tear the hair right out of your head. Right? That's what happens to your shoulder. And that's why people get torn rotator cuff. It's like, unless you've had an accident, you fell and you landed on your shoulder, let's say, then things can get broken that, without this repetitive strain injury issue. But otherwise, the only way it happens is because the muscle gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And eventually it breaks.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So, Julie, will stretching or yoga help relieve pain?
Well, like I mentioned before with stretching, with the rope with the knots. So no, it'll help it temporarily, very temporary. But then the knots are still there. So the muscle is 10 inches where it should be 12 inches. Right. As for yoga, what's really interesting is years ago, I used to do telephone consultations. Now I do Zoom consultations. But in those days it was pre-Zoom.
Right.
And so I was doing telephone consultations. And the way we would work it back then is you would send me an email. You would explain what was wrong, because otherwise people just go on and on and on and on. And they would up their whole time just trying to explain it to me. So they'd send me an email. I would figure out what was going on, and then I'd talk to you on the phone. And I would tell you what to do. And they would get my book, would be a part of the consultation. So they'd know what to do. Anyway, this yoga teacher makes this appointment. And it turns out that she was having pain in her lower leg. She had tried everything, and she was so used to yoga being able to fix everything that she couldn't understand why it wasn't fixing it, and she should fix it. Anyway, she finally broke her own rule, and she went online and started looking. She found me. She ended up ordering a telephone consultation. So what I would do is you would get the book, and then we would wait for 2 weeks so that you could do, like I would email you back and say, I want you to do this, 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 and this treatment, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. So that's what we were doing. Well, by the next day, she didn't have calf pain anymore,
Wow.
one day. But
Mhm.
she still had 12 days before she could talk to me. So she thought, well, let me check and see. My hips are fine, but let me see if I can find anything in my hips. Well, she found all kinds of stuff in her hips. And she worked it out. And then her yoga got better. And then she thought, I wonder about the shoulder. So she did the same thing. And her yoga got better again. So then she brought it into her class, and she started having like people in the class who were having problems with different moves. She would have them doing the treatment of the muscle that they were trying to stretch, and their yoga got better.
Mm.
By the time I spoke to her 2 weeks later, she said, okay. I mean, she was so funny. She was definitely a take charge lady. She said, we're building a product. It's got to be called Trigger Point Yoga, and this is what it is. And I was like one of those little bobbleheads. And I'm just going, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did that, and we created a product it's called Trigger Point Yoga. And what you do is there's one DVD. Well, now they're MP4s, but it was one DVD had me with her husband teaching every one of the self-treatments that are in the book.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
then her doing the whole thing was 45 minutes. So she did like a 30-minute yoga session
Mm-hmm.
with the muscles that we just treated.
Mm-hmm.
So it was called Trigger Point Yoga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's now called Focus Flexibility Training, primarily because the athletes, this is so funny. I was in the gym and I was working with all these athletes, and I said, if I had a class called Trigger Point Yoga, would you come? Nah, yeah, yoga, poo-poo, girly girl.
Yeah.
They're so wrong. They are so and anyway, so they wouldn't come. So I thought, all right. So I left. A couple of days later, I came back and I said, if I had a class called Focus Flexibility Training, would you come? Oh, yeah, sign me up for that one. But I need that
And it's the same class.
What I ended up doing was on the DVDs, I just got a sticker and I covered Trigger Point Yoga and I made it Focus Flexibility Training. And that's the only thing.
That is hilarious.
That's
So-
good.
That is hilarious.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you untie the knots first and then you stretch.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So, you mentioned plantar fasciitis a second
Mhm.
ago as being one of those
Right.
awful pain, chronic pain issues. Can you tell us how that happens? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it happens?
Yeah, that goes back to that same scenario where people are rubbing where it hurts.
Yeah.
So it's hurting in your arch.
Mm-hmm.
People are rubbing the arch, they're rolling their foot on a ball, they're using their
Yeah.
whatever. It's actually coming from your lower leg. So right now, just to see, take your fingers and go along, cross your legs so that you can reach it easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can reach it.
Yeah.
Take your fingers and press into the muscle that's on the outside of your shin bone.
Okay.
All right. And like really press in deep and kind of slide down toward your ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see the odds are it hurts, especially if you do it on your right leg because you drive a car. Okay.
Doesn't hurt.
And so that,
I must not be doing it right.
well, I mean, it's possibly that you don't have it, but if you had it, you'd know it. Anyway, that muscle comes down. And if you look at your foot and you like pull your foot up, you'll see a tendon pop out in the front of your ankle.
While
That-
you're rubbing it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, even like right now while you're just sitting, if you just like pull your foot up,
You could see it.
you'll see the tendon.
See it.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's the tendon of the muscle that I was just telling you about. And it inserts it's called the first metatarsal. It's the long bone of your big toe, right?
Okay.
That's in your arch. It inserts there. Then there's a muscle that's on the very, very outside of your lower leg that comes down. The tendon goes behind your ankle, and then it inserts on the outside of the foot on what's called the fifth metatarsal. and it comes in and it inserts in the exact same place as the other one. Now, the one that's by your shin, that's called tibialis anterior. And what it does is it makes your foot roll toward the outside so that you're kind of on your pinky toe. The one on the outside causes your foot to roll in toward the arch. If they get tight, think about this. One is pulling to the left, one is pulling to the right. They both insert in your arch. Where
Yeah.
you can feel the pain. You're going to feel it in your arch.
Right.
Now, your calf muscles go down and they form the Achilles tendon at the back of your ankle, and they insert into your heel bone. As when that contracts naturally, you stand up on your toes. But think about it, when you're driving a car, you're sitting and it's basically like you're standing on your toes. You push on the gas pedal, the brake, gas pedal, brake pedal. So people have more of a tendency of having a problem in their right leg than their left leg.
Oh, wow.
That muscle is inserting into your heel bone. Well, the front side of your heel bone is the arch. Except now, if that's tight, it's pulling your heel bone backward, and the other two muscles are pulling it left and right. Your poor arch is being pulled in 3 different directions, and everybody is rubbing the arch. It's not your arch, it's your lower leg.
Okay.
Yeah. In the introduction, we're going to have some breaking news.
Yeah.
This is great.
Actually, that's a good one, because I was at a party one time and it was one of those, like, it was at the church and it was trying to get people to know each other. So you would to be talking to somebody you had never met before. So I'm talking to this woman, and when she found out what I do, she said, "Oh, I wish you could help me." I said, "Well, what's wrong?" She said, "I have plantar fasciitis." I said, "Oh, that one's an easy one to fix." And she said, No. She said, "I've already spent over $4,000 on this thing.
Wow.
It is not easy to fix." I said, "No, really, Donna, it's a really easy one to fix." Well, you know how they say you can tell a woman's stature in life by what's in her pocketbook? Like if you have babies, you've got, right? A little kid, you have cookies.
Yeah.
So I always have a ball in my pocketbook. So I get the ball out. I have her kneel down and put the ball just below her knee to the outside of the shin bone. And then you move your legs so that the ball is rolling down on the outside of the shin bone toward your ankle. I thought she was going to faint, right? Because the pain was so horrific. And I told her, "You're in charge of the pressure here, like use less pressure until it works down a little bit." So she did that. And then I showed her how to do the muscle on the outside. And then you do the muscle, your calf muscle, you actually do it with your opposite knee. You put your calf onto your knee and you press down, and then you rub back and up and down in the direction toward your ankle. Anyway, it took us probably 10, 15 minutes. And when she got up, she looked at me, she said, "Why did they charge me $4,000?
Oh, wow.
She said, "That's 15 minutes. It's gone." And that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
I bet that garnered quite an audience, though.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of people watching us.
Yeah. Oh, this has been such great information, Julie.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Well, we've reached the end of the questions. Do you have any parting words you'd like to leave our audience with?
The first thing, if they go to flexibleathlete.com, they can watch my TED Talk. And that's going to explain so much. The TED Talk really explains so much. And then I have videos, I've got articles, I've got all kinds of stuff on there. Everybody needs to make money, of course, but my mission is actually just to make people get better. And so they can go on there, they can find lots and lots of answers without spending a nickel.
Okay.
And if they do want, if they want more, I've got books. I have Treat Yourself to Pain-Free Living, Pain-Free Athlete, 15-Minute Back Pain Solution. I've got a bunch of books. And they're all self-treatment books. I've got the focus flexibility training. I've got a carpal tunnel system for anybody who's got carpal tunnel. And
And
then,
those are all on your website, Julie?
yeah, and then Zoom consultations, which
Okay.
I've done Zoom consultations with people all over the world, and it works.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much again, Julie, for coming on Two Earrings Off.
I love the title of your show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You take care.
All right.
Thank
Very
you.
nice meeting you. We appreciate it. All right.
Nice meeting the both of you as
All
well.
right. Okay.